Welcome to episode number 20 of Facilities First, sponsored by Hero Facility Services. My name's Paul McCarthy. Today, I have a gentleman joining me who I not only consider a friend, he's a Marine, he's an all around awesome guy. I'd like to welcome Dane Prevatt, with the Senior Facilities Manager at Dutch Bros Coffee. Dane, welcome aboard, brother.
Thank you, man. Good to see you. How are you?
Finally got you on. So now we're going to have some fun with you.
There you go. Love it.
So I always start out with some rapid fire and just kind of break the ice because a lot of people don't like going on live. They're like, what am I about to do? What if I make a mistake? So we make mistakes. You know me. So, first question, what's your go to Dutch Bros order?
I have been drinking an Americano with salted caramel and heavy cream for about 8 years.
Really?
I like a lot of them, or a Palm Beach Rebel. But yeah, that's my go-to coffee. Kind of light. I'll throw a little soft top on there sometimes if I'm feeling I'm not holding my weight when it comes to the dad bod. So I try to, we'll see how it goes. See how I feel that day. Yeah.
By the way, I have to thank you because when we first started talking, I said, will you please get a Dutch Bros in Melbourne? Because my daughter is driving me nuts about it. Well, they moved to Boca. Now you're building the one in Melbourne. Now they want to come back and live here. So I don't know if that's a good idea.
Got to be careful what you wish for sometimes, right?
Exactly. So are you an early bird or a night owl?
I am early. I'm not the best sleeper, so I get up pretty early in the morning. But that's a benefit of going to bed early at night too. But yeah, I tell my team whenever we're traveling together, I'm like, hey, let's meet downstairs at 8. They're probably going to get a text at 7 because I'm sitting there bored. So most of them know now, so they get ready. They know the routine, so it's pretty cool.
I'm not built for those late nights anymore.
No, sir.
It's just something about it.
No, so, I love it when it hits about 8:30. I'm like, oh, I'm close. So
yeah, I'm about out of here. Bedtime's coming.
It's right around the corner.
Do you prefer pressure or purpose?
I like purpose. Pressure, I think because of my history a little bit, pressure is not really something that I don't view it the same as some people, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm in the coffee industry. I'm not in the in an industry where people are living and dying by decisions. It's coffee. So I kind of lean towards the purpose side of it. I always feel like if it's intentional and thought out, I get more out of that. Pressure is something I think that people put on themselves, given the situation. And if you don't often make good decisions when you're under fire or under pressure, you can make mistakes. So I try to run with a little more purpose. I think about the things. If it's a little bit slower, it's a little bit slower. But if you got time to do it twice, you got time to do it nice.
Yep, exactly. And that's a good segue because, by the way, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
I tell people all the time, when I was 18, nobody was going to yell at me, especially a Marine drill sergeant. No, sir.
It's not that bad. Really?
Yeah, you say that.
It's funny because that's like the big takeaway is getting yelled at in boot camp. There's schools that I went to in the Marine Corps that I would do boot camp back to back before I would do that school again.
Really?
It's a lot. It's much harder. You have what they call gentlemen's courses that are hard, but they're not super intense. But yeah. I went to a school called Combat Water Safety Swimmer School. It was, I think, 3 or 4 weeks long. And I think other than the first 2 days, they try to drown you every day. So that's a little bit mental. So that was one of the schools I would do boot camp back to back. No problem. 26, 30 weeks. Don't care. I would do it again. I'm not doing 4 weeks in the pool. That was miserable.
4 weeks of trying to get drowned. That just sounds like a absolute blast. Yet another reason.
Yeah, it's invigorating. Like it gives you a perspective on life, like and a brush with mortality. So
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Pretty wild.
What's one word your team would use to describe you? This should be fun.
I reached out to one of my people. One of the gals on my team, she's a project manager. She's killer. And I said, "Hey man, I need you to answer this question for me. What's something that you would this is how I had no answer. I didn't know how people view me. I'm a team guy, right?
Yeah.
So I often try to just blend in with the program, and I don't want somebody to walk up and say, "Oh, Dane's the senior guy." I That's not really my thing. It's about those guys from Dutch Bros got it together. They understand the program.
Yeah.
She said ride or die. So that's three, Kat. Like, what are you talking about? But she said this sentence that really kind of caught me off guard. So this encapsulates your unwavering commitment to team goals and a shared vision. You provide steadfast support during challenges, fostering a positive and inclusive environment. Your open communication style encourages collaboration, and you're always ready to champion bold decisions when it makes sense. You back innovative ideas, invest in the growth of your team, making a lasting impact on our success. That couldn't have been better, because how I don't back to my initial, like, I'm a team guy.
Yeah.
Um, when somebody that I said, "Hey, give me one word that describes me." That when they say that, I feel like that tells me I'm doing what I'm planning on doing, or I'm executing what I want to do.
Well, it's
That's
like
how I want to be.
you and I just had a long talk the other day, and we talked about we're in our fourth quarter.
Mhm.
And so we're looking to leave impact and legacies with people.
Yeah,
And I think as you grow older, that's something that becomes more important. It's not about
totally.
yourself. It's about what you leave behind.
Yeah,
So that's
it
awesome.
really is. I don't want people to go like, "Oh, Dane really liked himself."
Yeah.
Who cares? Nobody, right? But that was like pretty impactful. That like I somebody that's a high level, high performer thinks that I'm building the rest of this group, or I'm helping impact their success, and
And
that's ultimately what a leader or somebody in leadership should look out for. It's not about me; it's about everybody around you.
that's awesome. That's awesome. So you segued into leadership. What's the best leadership lesson you learned the hard way?
Uh, I wrote this down. Um, so there's kind of a so leading from the front is it can be a bit of a myth, right? Like, I think that leadership's kind of in the middle. So like, and I can describe this as like if you're on a patrol in the desert, or you have your 16 guys stretched out for a mile going across the desert. If you're in the front, leading from the front by example, you're not seeing what's going on in the back. You don't know what's going on. So as I equate to this, if I'm in the middle, I can see and guide the front. I can set examples. I can direct and steer the boat a little bit, if you will, as a leadership style. But also I can see the back. I can see what worked and what didn't work. If I'm always doing everything, or if I'm always trying to lead from the front and set an example, I don't know if it's working. But if you're in the middle of that and you're guiding, you're steering, but you're also watching the results, um, it's I think that that's a better level of leadership. You get out in front, and I've done this, and then all of a sudden I'm fixing everything, or I'm working on everything, or I'm painting the building when I have people that can paint the building. If I'm fixing the espresso machine and I have people, I'm not teaching them anything really. I'm not doing anything that's beneficial other than for myself. So don't do everything. Don't put yourself in a situation where you're not really leading, you're not fostering that. So that can be a mistake. Then all of a sudden you have five people standing around like, I don't know how to do anything. You just did everything.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't learn anything from you.
And I know a lot of people when they talk about leaders, I've always had a saying that a leader will water you and help you grow, where a
Mhm.
boss will stunt your growth. Because
True.
there are two different things. And we've all dealt with great leaders, we've dealt with bosses. And I think one of the things that I notice out of you is your selfless leadership. And that's a word that's thrown around a lot, but very few truly have selfless. In our
Mhm.
conversation the other day, it really just reiterated the fact of how selfless you are because it's about the team.
Yeah.
And kudos to you for that.
Thank you.
So, for those that don't know you, tell everybody watching a little bit about Dane. Who is Dane?
So, um, I was in the Marines. It's something about Marines. I always say that I joined the Marines. People ask, why'd you join the Marines and not the Navy? It's so I can talk trash to every other veteran the rest of my life, essentially. Uh, that's part of the reason. I came out of a small town in Oregon, and I had terrible grades. I didn't do good in school. I never made it on a school sports team. Got cut off every one. Was not much of an athlete, but I got tired of failing, and I was over it. Like there's going to be something that I'm going to do that's hard that is going to fix that, and that was the Marines. And then I found a lot of enjoyment. I was naturally a woodsman growing up, hunting and fishing and being out in the woods. So land navigation, all those things were kind of just second nature. I was a Boy Scout, so I could tie knots. I did all kinds of silly stuff, but it really segued into how it worked, and I actually loved it. I was given a lot of opportunity to go to some different training evolutions in schools. By the time I was 22, I'd been to 18 different countries, been around the world 3 times. So I just got to see a lot of cool stuff. I spent 20 years in the automotive at an auto body doing that kind of stuff, then 5 years doing insurance. It was the most thankless jobs ever. And I found Dutch. And it's actually a place people want you. So if you fit the mold of culture and selflessness and leadership, this place is amazing. I love being here. My wife's sister and her husband have 10 stores in Central Oregon, and I hated what I was doing at the time. So he's like, man, I could use a maintenance guy. And I knew nothing about it. I've known Dutch forever. I'm from Grants Pass. Trav used to come into my bar, sit and eat pizza and watch Cal football. So I've known Dutch. I had several of his people working for me. They'd work at Dutch in the daytime, and they'd come work it with me at night. But then I was like, I'll help you out for 6 months. We'll get some of these things fixed up, and then I'm out of here. Well, that was like almost 9 years ago. So I'm still working through that. But then I also run a nonprofit with a team of people. So we take veterans to DC every year to tour all the monuments and memorials built in their honor. We take them to Arlington to see a changing of the guard. We take them to the Korea Memorial, the Vietnam Wall, World War II, the Jefferson Memorial, Lincoln Memorial. I get them a private tour of the Capitol. I actually get the National Archives, to open up an hour early to let my group in. You wouldn't think that you could call the National Archives and be like, hey, man, I'm bringing 58 people there. Can you open an hour early? And they're like, yeah, no problem, dude. But they did it. They've been doing it for the last 4 years. But I've been doing that since went on my first trip in 2015. And I don't volunteer for anything. I was in the Marines. You get voluntold. You never volunteer. You get to do stuff that's kind of a volunteer, but it's not.
Yeah.
So I don't volunteer. If it's coming my way, I'm going to get it anyway. But this is the one thing I volunteered. I did it in 2015. I've been doing it or been involved with it since then, and I love it.
That's awesome.
It brings me a ton of joy. I've taken about 325 guys over the last 8 years. We had a 2-year lull during COVID. But you change their mindset on the country. They get to see things that they probably have never seen. And we give them a big welcome home party at the end, which they never got. I mean, as you know, Korea and Vietnam era guys are about all that we have left that can go on these trips. And they didn't get a welcome home, Korea or Vietnam. They got quite the opposite. So I get to provide that. It's pretty awesome.
Well, thank you for doing that. You know, I worked in the veteran nonprofit world as well. And I think one of the things that we don't realize is the greatest generation, even the Vietnam and the Korean guys, they weren't treated like our veterans are now.
No.
And if you have not witnessed an honor flight, it is one of the most special and emotional things
Mhm.
that I've ever seen. And so, thank you for doing that. Thank you for that selfless act that you're doing.
Thank you. This is my
So,
10th trip. September is my 10th one that I'm running.
where's my invite?
Man, geez, I would love to take everybody. You have to see it. You have to see this. Going to DC is great, right? Going to DC through the lens of honor flight is a completely different experience. And it is emotional. You would think at the amount of times I've done this, it would not emotionally affect you. I cry every trip. I don't care
Yeah.
what people say. I'm a big baby. Who cares? I'll cry about it in the next life. However, it's crazy. You go through the airport. I'm taking 50 veterans this year,
Wow.
50 guardians, and 10 staff. And when we go through the airports and everybody stands up and is clapping, these guys don't know how to act. The
Yeah.
last time they did something with the military going through the airport, they might have got something thrown at them or
Yeah.
gum thrown at them or spit at or flipped off. You don't know. But when they come through with us, with my guys, my team, they're blown away. And I cry every time. I don't care. It's what it
I,
is.
I
It's tough,
agree.
dude.
When it comes to our country and our servicemen, I'll cry every time.
Yeah.
So we kind of touched on Dutch Bros and kind of why you chose Dutch Bros. Everybody in the industry knows about Dutch Bros and their culture, and it is one of the strongest cultures that I have seen. So a lot of people talk about culture.
Mhm.
We all know that. But what does it really look like when culture is real?
So as an example, I can go to when I'm at HQ in Arizona, I can walk by our chief development officer's office. If his door's open, I stick my head in and I'm like, "Hey, what's up, Brian? How are you today? How's it going?" It's genuine relationships. They're authentic. Um, I haven't done it to CB yet. I might one of these days. Christine Baroni, our CEO, but it would give the same thing. I could walk and tap on her door. Hey, CB, how are you doing today? And she'd be like, "Hey, how are you today?" And it's genuine, wants to know what I'm doing. That's real culture. We had we did a Better World conference in Arizona, or sorry, in Las Vegas, and Simon Sinek, I think is his name.
Mhm.
He's a
Yep.
speaker and an author, great guy. He was blown away by the amount of people that would come up when they would get called up on stage to talk story with Trav. When everybody was done, they'd get up and give Trav a hug, and he stopped about the fourth time it happened, and they were like, "I've never been to a speaking event where the random employee would get up and hug the CEO or the president or the founder of the company, and it's genuine. Like you give them a hug back, dude." And he's like, "Yeah, that's culture. It's genuine and authentic from the top down. If it's fake, you can sniff it out a mile away."
Yeah.
People, I would say of our vintage, you can buy there can be some false motivations, right? You can tell people love on your crews and your customers, and sometimes it can be a little disingenuous, right? That's squished out pretty quick at Dutch because everybody knows when it's fake. But
Yeah.
from the top down, it's still the same. Same way Trav was. They
Kudos to y'all. I mean, because you see it with the Dutch Bros teams when they're around. It's a family, and
we're all
you know,
friends. We hang out
families.
afterwards.
Yeah, families overused a lot because people are like, "Oh, everybody uses it," but it truly is a family at Dutch Bros. So kudos to you guys,
Yeah.
and it kind of goes into the next question. I'm just going to skip that because I know that with Dutch Bros, people aren't a number; they're a person.
Yeah.
And I asked that, but we've already talked about that. Let's get into the fun part about your vendor partners,
Yeah.
those awesome people that you get to talk to. So,
That's
what
culture
role
too,
do?
right?
Yeah, exactly. What
It's
role
a
do
fit.
vendor partners? play in helping you and your team stay strong?
It's a fit. Like when I interview RFMs, I'm like, I don't want to talk about your resume. I want to talk about you. I have asked some of our new hires, at what temperature do you take off brisket? Just to kind of understand, like, this is a human piece. And I've had HR gals like, why did you ask that? I'm like, because I know they can do the job. They've been doing this for 30 years. Are they going to fit?
Mm.
We do the same thing with our vendor partners, right? So when we're talking to them, like, this is a rave. You're going to go into the music's loud. You're going to have a bunch of young people dancing around, singing, making coffee, shotgunning rebels, doing shotgunning espresso shots. It's going to be a little mayhem. If that culture is not your fit, then just tell me now.
Yeah.
Either you can do it after hours or we'll just work through other people. So when we interview or we bring on vendor partners, it's kind of the same thing. I vibe check. It's everybody, like, people can fix stuff. People, they have these great relationships in the field. They have, good technicians. Everybody does, right? But if you're not a fit, if you're going to come in and you're going to send the grumpy old guy in to, clear the drains because somebody dropped their car keys in it, and he's going to yell at my crew, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So the culture translates really, really seamlessly to the vendor partnerships. And we just ask them to, like, understand what you're getting into. This is different than if you go into do HVAC work at the library. A little different.
Yeah. I tell people because Dutch Bros is new to Florida and coming from Texas, that, y'all had penetrated that market. But they say, what is Dutch Bros like? And I call it the Disney World of coffee and juices, because your team really are entertainers. I
Yeah.
mean, they are great at it. So
It's an
let me
experience,
see if
right? You can
yeah,
get a good cup of coffee. I think we have a good product, and also we give a little bit of love.
yeah,
Care the
exactly.
window.
And everybody needs a little bit, right?
Everybody needs a little bit.
So let me see if I'm right, and somebody's going to kill me because I'm from Texas if I miss this. 175, wrap it and put it in a cooler for 3 hours.
75. That's
175.
175 for how long?
3 hour, wrap it for 3 hours in a cooler.
Yeah, might be all right. Definitely gotta. I do a little bit. I do, like, I'll cook it till it hits 202, and then I wrap it, and I'll put it whatever time it took to get to that temperature. When I wrap it, I will put it in the cooler for half of that time.
Oh, okay.
So if it took 8 hours, I'll put it in the cooler for 4. Took 10,
I've
goes
tried
into
that
the
next.
5.
I've tried that. So
If it's
what
crap, let me know, or don't.
I'm blaming on you. I just
If
want
I
to
ruin $100 brisket, don't call me. I'll just
yeah,
know.
I'm not going to get prime. I will
Yeah,
get the lower tier.
yeah.
So I'm going to ask you something just to look inside Dane a little more. What's driving you personally right now? And then answer what's driving you professionally.
Um, Personally, I want my kids to know. I don't know. It's kind of like you want your kids to know, when they talk about their dad long after I'm gone, that they still talk about you for whatever, if it, hopefully it's good. Hopefully it was because I invested in memories versus gifts. And that's what I want them to talk about. So I try every day to give my kids some sort of memory of something. And some of it could be harsh a little bit, right? I mean, some of it could be life lessons that at 13 years old, my son maybe not really ready for.
Yeah.
But if I don't start now, I'm not gonna start. So I personally, that's my since my kids have come along in my life, that's been my number one driver. Um, so professionally, a little bit the same. I want people to know in 20 years at Dutch Bros, when they're looking back at the people that were influential, like Aaron Harris, right? I'll never forget that dude. He was our senior VP of construction, real estate, and development, way up the chain of my boss. I'll never forget him in a million years. I've had a lot of other jobs. I couldn't tell you who I even worked for, but I'll never forget Aaron Harris. Just an interesting guy, just how he spoke, how he talked, how he made me think about how I carry myself. And um, I'm not as confident as in he's a master of his craft, but confidence in how you speak to people and how you talk and how you carry yourself. Professionally, I want people to say, like, I learned a lot from Dane. Like maybe some of the, the younger coordinators at this point, maybe they're coordinators, and by the time I'm gone, like, hey man, Dane taught me some things on his way out. And it's kind of like you said, we're kind of in the fourth quarter. I want them to be successful. Don't learn from, I'm sorry, learn from my mistakes. Don't make the same dumb mistakes and then be like, oh yeah, I remember. I want to tell them the oven's hot now.
Yep.
Don't touch it.
It's
So
like I tell my boys is I can leave you $1 million, but you'll spend it. But if I
mhm,
leave you a legacy, you can't ever spend it.
right.
And that's that's the fourth quarter we're in.
Yeah.
So I end every show with the last two questions. So the first one is, what hill are you willing to die on, either in facilities or life?
Um, just being um in both, right? People will talk about you after you're gone. I think that's I think that's the biggest thing. I don't care about today. I think it would, if I was a ghost and I come back and people are like, man, that guy was all right. Hey, he was cool. Or at my funeral, like, I like that dude. He was, or in the professional, he was a hard worker.
That's
That would be
awesome.
cool. That's
That's
really professionally, he was a hard worker. Two, he was a cool guy. I liked him. He was all right.
awesome.
So
All right. So here's one that's going to boggle your mind. What is one question I should have asked you, but I didn't know I should ask you it?
um I don't know, man. So I don't ever, people don't, I don't, other than a handful of tattoos, people don't generally know that I was ever in the military. So you sniffed that out a while ago, and we talked about that a little bit. But I think probably one of the things I'm really proud of is the honor flight, and you picked up on that, and you knew about it. That's one of the things I'm super proud of, being able to take those guys to go see things that they wouldn't ever see. It's probably one of my happiest things. Like I've been doing it for 10 years now. This is my 10th trip or ninth trip. That's just one of the biggest things that I love. But I don't know. I mean, you kind of asked me all the things that are important to me. We talked
Yeah.
about our leaving a bit of a legacy, leaving some memories. The veteran community you're involved in, it's a big deal. But like probably one of my favorite things, but you got it, was the honor flight stuff. It's pretty cool.
Dude, that's awesome. And I have to
I
say
appreciate I appreciate you asking about it, because I don't, it's not something I'm like, oh hey, and also I do this.
yeah, well, and here's the thing is we're all people, right?
Mhm.
And a lot of people see us in our roles at work, but they don't get to know who we are.
Yeah.
And when you get to know who a person is, it helps. And
Yeah.
I just want to thank you personally for A, taking the time out of your day, but B, for being a friend of mine. And
Yeah.
once
That.
again, I appreciate your service, and I look forward to talking to you more in the future.
Yes,
So,
sir.
with that, we're going to bid adieu to everybody. And thanks for coming on the show. And we'll see everybody next time on Facilities First. Bye.
Take care, y'all.